Hello and welcome. For those of you who don't know me or are new to the channel, I'm Georgie from Healing Moons, and today we're going to be looking at moon phases. So we're going to start at the beginning of the lunar cycle, which is the new moon. This is the time for setting your intentions, new moon wishes, and creating your vision boards. We're just going to be looking at an overview of each phase of the moon, and then we will go into them in more detail in other videos. So once the full moon has come to pass, then we will be moving into the waxing crescent moon, which is a time for reflecting on your goals and intentions that you've set for the month, and also the actions that you need to take. That's when we would begin to start taking the action steps, the aligned action steps I should say, which will help to bring your wishes and desires into fruition. After this, we'd move into the first quarter moon. Now this is roughly a week after the new moon happens, so there's a few days in between, which is why it's quite handy to be able to track the moon phases if you can't actually see the moon on a regular basis, and think to look, because many of us don't when we're caught up in our busy lives that we live these days. So this is a time to focus on taking further appropriate action for your desired goal. It's also a time for focusing on your relationships as well, whether that be family, friends, colleagues, lovers, and to really look at which ones serve us and support our goals. If there's anything that needs to be pruned away, that's presenting as a negative force in your life, then now is the time to cut back on your interactions or whatever it is that you need to do to help you focus and keep your positive mindset in bringing this into fruition. Next phase that we go into is then the waxing gibbous, and this is the final stretch. This is where you put in all the hard work that you need to, and also if it's an event that you're planning, then you would want it to be within this last part of the moon cycle, or this phase of the moon cycle between the waxing gibbous and the full moon, as this is when the energy is really starting to build and the energy will support what it is that you're bringing into fruition. And then we come into the full moon, which is a time when you would want to take a moment to celebrate the wins and the achievements that you've had within this lunar cycle so far. Anything that you've brought to fruition that was part of your goal. You can also look at the bits that haven't worked quite so well, so that you know what they are and what you can change in the coming month. And it's also a time when you would want to look at any beliefs or things that are holding you back, to let them go. And then as the energies begin to wane, as we move out of the full moon energy and we're going through the waning process now. The waning gibbous energy is the time for reflecting on what went well and what didn't, and what could be improved on. And it's also a time of dissolving any relationships that aren't productive and conducive to the life that you're trying to create for yourself. And it's also a time to recharge the existing ones that are supporting you and working for your highest good. And as we move into the last or third quarter, it's a time to freely let go of anything that isn't a positive force in your life or that obstructs your goals. And then a few days later, as we come into the waning crescent phase of the moon, it's then a time to rest and get ready to reset your intentions and goals for the coming lunar month, because this is the end of the lunar cycle for the month. There is also the Balsamic Moon, which is usually the day before the new moon, and that's treated as a day of rest, because as you go through the waning part of the cycle, you begin to go inwards, and it's a time for any inner work that you need to do around your fears, negative self-beliefs, and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I will catch up with you all soon. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the like button and subscribe, and next week I'll be back and we will go through the lunar phases in more detail. Love and light. Take care. Bye.